Hello and welcome to a brand new edition of CJ Plus. On the show today, citizens are fighting a battle that's guaranteed to be long and difficult. And yet they're speaking out. They're fighting against carelessness where accuracy is crucial. They're fighting for accountability. They're fighting against medical negligence. On the show today, citizens who feel cheated by the doctors who they trusted.
I was told by the Ministry of Health that my case was considered in the committee and they found pacemaker installation was not required.
And citizens fighting the long and tough battle against medical negligence.
मेरी बेटी की गुजरे हुए 5 साल हो गया मेडिकल नेग्लिजेंसी की वजह से और 5 साल से अभी तक मुझे कोई इंसाफ नहीं मिला है।
What do you do when you're cheated by a hospital that you've put your trust in at the time of an emergency? When you spent lakhs of rupees because a doctor said that a medical procedure was imperative, only to find out later that this was just a tool to mint money by the hospital. And this is exactly what happened with Ravi Kumar, who's turning a citizen journalist. He was a PRO with the Delhi police and had a heart condition. It was in an emergency situation that he went to a hospital where the doctors said that the only way to save his life was a pacemaker operation. Now, he was entitled to a reimbursement, which is why he took this case later to a board of doctors in the health ministry. Now, these doctors found that this pacemaker operation was completely not required. Not the ones to give up, Ravi Kumar took this case to the consumer court, where the court found the hospital guilty of negligence and foul play.
I'm Ravi Pawar. I'm citizen journalist today. I would share with you my experience as a citizen, as a consumer. I was a heart patient, the first attack being in 2003 and then in 2005. Then 2006 in September, around 10:30 in night, I suffered all the symptoms of a heart attack, and since my doctor had advised me to go to the nearest possible hospital, decided to take me to a nearby hospital.
5 minutes away from my residence in Sector 14 Rohini was Saroj Hospital, and that is where my family took me on the night of 20th September 2006. The doctors there told my wife that I needed an emergency surgery for a pacemaker implant, and we were asked to arrange an amount of 5,24,134 rupees by the morning. This was a huge amount, but we had the assurance that this money would be reimbursed, since at that time I was working as the PRO at the Delhi Police Headquarters and was entitled to reimbursement under the central government health scheme.
I submitted all documents to my department, that was the Delhi Police, and they sent those documents to the CGHS headquarters for payment. Then I wouldn't know. By the time I had retired, so I wouldn't know what is happening.
My reimbursement was being stalled. I started filing RTIs to get an update on the status of my reimbursement. 14th December 2006, 13th March 2007, 20th June 2007 and 8th May 2008. All of my RTI queries to the Ministry of Health and Welfare went unanswered. Finally, in a reply to my 5th RTI filed on 13th May 2008, I was informed that a high-level committee had been set up to review my case. 2 months later, this committee came out with its verdict. On the 24th of July 2008, the Standing Committee of Medical Experts had found that the automatic implantable cardioverter defibrillator or the pacemaker implant was not justified. The doctors at the Saroj Hospital operated on me and implanted a machine in my heart, charged me lakhs of rupees, and all this was not required.
I was stunned. And then for a few days I couldn't think what to do next. Somebody suggested that I should go to the consumer court, so I talked to a lawyer friend and then we approached the court.
On one hand was the hospital that said there was no option but the operation, and on the other, a committee of doctors set up by the Ministry of Health and Family Welfare who said that the procedure was not needed. Feeling confused and cheated, I filed a case against both the hospital and the joint director of the CGHS scheme, D-Wing, which is responsible for the reimbursements. The Consumer Disputes Redressal Forum South Delhi in its proceedings found Saroj Hospital guilty of unfair trade practices and dismissed the case against the Ministry of Health's reimbursement wing.
2008 we had approached this consumer court, and this is 2016 that the order is reported to have been issued, but I have yet to receive the order. I got the order from internet, but physically by post I haven't received. Not only they will reimburse my money which was spent, but they will pay me interest at a simple interest of 6%, and they have also imposed, they have also granted compensation of about 2 lakhs of rupees. I hope that the day will come when there will be no medical negligence and unethical practices by the doctors and the hospitals. Citizen journalist for CNN News 18.
CJ Plus is not only a platform for your stories, but it's also a commitment that we will stand by you in your battles for justice. Today on the show, 2 citizens whose loved ones were snatched away from them because of medical negligence are back on the show. First is Parikshit Dalal, who lost his young wife as she was delivering their child. The post-mortem report later revealed that there was a hemorrhage that led to her death. Possibly, Kapali, Parikshit's wife, had been dropped from the operating table. Parikshit, since then, it's been 6 years and he's been running pillar to post, going from door to door, asking for accountability, fighting for justice. And during this time, CJ Plus has been standing with him. Here is Parikshit Dalal's follow-up report.
It's been 6 years since the citizen journalist team has stood by Parikshit Dalal in his fight for justice. It started in 2010 when Parikshit lost his wife Kapali and their unborn child to the alleged negligence of doctors in a Bangalore hospital.
Kapali and I were expecting our first child.
She would want to sort of document herself growing big.
On April 16, 2010, we reached the hospital at about 7 in the morning.
At about 9 o'clock in the morning, Kapali was wheeled in to the operating theatre. This was to be the happiest days of her life and my life and everybody's life. And that few moments completely turned around and ended up in the most horrific day. At about 10:30, more than an hour after they took her in, the doctors came out and told us that Kapali's experienced a very severe form of anesthesia reaction. And at about 12 o'clock, 12:20 that morning, the doctors declared her dead. And they also told us that they could not save the baby.
Although the hospital claimed that Kapali died due to anesthesia reaction during her delivery, her autopsy concluded that she died due to shock and hemorrhage.
It cannot be because of an anaphylaxis or an anesthesia reaction. In this case, the only possibility is there should have been a fall inside the OT, while it could be while handling the patient in the OT table or while transferring the patient from the stretcher to the OT table.
Determined to get the guilty to book, Parikshit Dalal has been fighting a legal battle ever since. But even 6 years and multiple follow-ups later, his fight is far from over. The matter is between authorities, the Karnataka Medical Council and the Medical Council of India, and the CJ Plus team has been tracking its progress.
It has come to my notice now, we will take care of it. It would be appropriate to give them a final date to look at this case, decide this case within 3 weeks, and failing which they have to submit all the papers of this case to MCI. High Court had directed them, Karnataka Medical Council, to decide on this case within 3 months.
they have not taken action there. On that basis, the petitioner has filed an appellate in my court. So next week I have fixed the date for hearing. Simultaneously, I have instructed the KMC chief to refer it to the IMC.
Continuing his battle, CJ Parikshit Dalal spoke to us over Skype. Parikshit, what is the current status of your case?
The case started 6 years ago, and 3 years ago, the Sessions Court of Karnataka had rejected the doctor's petition to discharge the charge sheet against them. Subsequently, they have approached the High Court for relief, and that matter is pending in front of the High Court. We hope that that verdict will go in our favor and the framing of charges will proceed and the trial will begin. The Medical Council of India had ordered to take over the matter from the Karnataka Medical Council since the matter was not disposed of within the prescribed timeline. However, we still await Medical Council of India to take the matter and proceed on that front. In terms of the consumer court case, that is going on in Delhi, and we await that verdict eagerly.
It's been 6 years since you've been fighting for justice. How difficult has this battle been for you?
The fight has been extremely difficult, both in terms of emotionally and logistically. And as much as it is a fight for us to get justice, we also don't want these kind of things to happen to other patients. But however, we respect the judiciary in India, and we are sure that we will be delivered justice at some point in time.
In all this while that you have been fighting for justice, what has happened to the doctors and the hospital that you allege has been negligent?
The doctors continue to practice. 2 of the doctors are not even registered in Karnataka Medical Council. The doctors were arrested, given bail, and yet they continue to practice. The hospital continues to function as it did earlier. No action has been taken against these doctors. The State Medical Council as well as the government of Karnataka had initiated inquiries against them. We are yet to see any action being taken in those matters.
The CJ Plus team has been tracking this story and will continue to do so. With Vijay Nishat Hayat and Bharat Bhushan in New Delhi, I'm Akansha Pradeep.
As Parikshit Dalal's fight for justice continues, CJ Plus promises to stand by him, repeatedly asking the authorities for accountability. We're going to slip into a very short break, but on the other side is another CJ Plus follow-up, a father fighting for justice for his daughter who he lost due to medical negligence. Welcome back, you're watching CJ Plus. On the show today, citizens are raising some pertinent questions and fighting the fight against medical negligence. Ravi Kumar Chaudhary, a father who lost his young daughter to a case of medical negligence, came on the show last year. His daughter, Ritu Kumari, was suffering from dengue and was administered drugs that proved lethal. This 10-year-old child then suffered from acute organ failure that finally led to her death. Ravi Kumar Chaudhary is back on the show. He has been fighting a relentless battle for justice, and CJ Plus has been standing by him. Here is his CJ Plus follow-up report.
मेरा नाम प्रमोद कुमार चौधरी है। 1 साल पहले मैं सिटीजन जर्नलिस्ट बना था अपनी बेटी रितु कुमारी के इंसाफ के लिए। मेरी बेटी के गुजरे हुए 5 साल हो गया मेडिकल नेग्लिजेंस की वजह से, और 5 साल से अभी तक मुझे कोई इंसाफ नहीं मिला है।
उसका तो याद हर समय 24 घंटा रहता, लेकिन अब वो सिर्फ याद ही छोड़ के चली गई और कुछ भी नहीं है।
हमने RLKC मेट्रो हॉस्पिटल जो प्राइवेट है वहाँ ले जाने के बाद OPD में दिखाया।
At the RLKC hospital, Ritu was diagnosed with dengue. One day in the hospital and my daughter's condition did not stabilize. In fact, she started complaining of abdominal pain.
डॉक्टर आए जाके 6 बजे सुबह मॉर्निंग में। आते हुए बच्चे ये कहते हैं कि भैया बच्चा तो सीरियस हो गया। डॉक्टर सुनील सरीन और ये विवेक तो ऑटोमेटिक मेरे को ये कह रहे हैं कि ये काम कीजिए कि आप कलावती ले जाइए या तो RM में ले जाइए। हम कि ऐसा क्यों, क्या हो गया हमारे बच्चे को? तो कहने लगे नहीं मेरे पास पेटेंट ICU नहीं है।
We rushed her to the RML hospital.
RML हॉस्पिटल 4:05 पे लाए। तो RML के इमरजेंसी डॉक्टरों ने जब देखने के बाद उन्होंने हमें बताया कि भाई इसके अंदर जो है एक तो BP कम है, इसके बाद क्रिटिकल कंडीशन है, और इसके बाद जो है इसका शॉक में भी है, और इसके जो है हर एक पल्स वगैरह जो भी है सब कुछ इसका फेल हो चुका है। ट्रीटमेंट शुरू किए तो खून की मूवमेंटिंग ज़्यादा चलने लगा, उल्टियाँ ज़्यादा होने लगा। 8 बजे के बाद वो बच्चा, हमारे जो ऋतु थी, वो कोमा में चली गई।
On the 26th, we stood helpless as my daughter passed away. The death certificate calls the reason for death for my 10-year-old healthy daughter as renal failure. Something just wasn't adding up. I had filed an RTI with NDMC to find out about the medicines administered to my daughter in the hospital. To my horror, it was then that I got to know that wrong medication was given to her.
ये पहले दिन का दवाइयों की चार्ट है, जो कि लिखा गया है कुछ और दिया गया है कुछ।
The nurse's chart that I got access to after I filed the RTI shows that without the doctor's prescription, my daughter was administered strong antibiotics. In fact, the Health Ministry directive clearly states that antibiotics, aspirin and steroids shouldn't be administered to a patient who's suffering from dengue. I even approached the Indian Medical Council and the Delhi Medical Council, but unmindful of this gross negligence on the part of the hospital, these authorities have given a clean chit to the doctors and the hospital staff. I approached the Consumer Court in 2014. The decision of the court is still pending.
कंज्यूमर कोर्ट में मैं धक्का खा रहा हूँ, जो कि हर एक बार एक नया डेट पड़ जाता है। न्याय की लड़ाई इतना मुश्किल क्यों है?
I reached out to the Directorate General of Health Services Delhi government earlier this year, and they requested the Indian Medical Council and the Delhi Medical Council to look into the matter, suspecting wrong certification of doctors who treated my daughter. Despite requesting them to treat this case as urgent and time-bound, both the Indian Medical Council and the Delhi Medical Council have not bothered to reply.
इस संबंध में 8 महीना पहले मैं दिल्ली डायरेक्टर जनरल हेल्थ सर्विसेज दिल्ली सरकार के पास मैं का अपील लगाया था, जो कि संबंध में कहा कि ठीक है 2 महीने के बाद मैं इनकी कार्रवाई करके मैं आपको जवाब दूंगा, जो कि उन्होंने इंडियन मेडिकल काउंसिल और दिल्ली मेडिकल काउंसिल को लिखा था, लेकिन अभी तक उनका कोई जवाब नहीं आया। मैं रिक्वेस्ट करता हूं मेडिकल काउंसिल ऑफ इंडिया से और दिल्ली मेडिकल काउंसिल से कि जल्दी से जल्दी रिप्लाई फाइल करें दिल्ली सरकार को, जो कि मेरे को इंसाफ मिले। मैं प्रमोद कुमार चौधरी, सिटीजन जर्नलिस्ट।
Next on the show is a heart-wrenching story of a mother who could only hold on to her newborn child for a period of 43 days. Yes, Suchitra Das Gupta is our citizen journalist, and she alleges that her doctors did not inform her about a crucial diagnostic procedure called the echocardiogram test. Now, if this test had been done, Suchitra would have known that the child that she had been carrying in her womb was suffering from a congenital heart disease. Both Suchitra and her husband were getting ready to welcome this new child into their lives, but what resulted after the birth was an emotional upheaval that she was not ready for.
Hi, I'm Sucharita Das Gupta. I'm on Citizen Journalist Show, and I'm here today to talk about the saddened story of my daughter, who was just 43 days old, and I lost her to a rare heart disease called congenital hypoplastic right heart syndrome. All because of the fact that a fetal echocardiography test wasn't done in the right time in my case. When I conceived, of course, for any parent, it's a sheer matter of joy, and of course I was joyous and of course in cloud number 9 for every reason possible. So of course I went for all the ultrasound right from the 6th week to the 7th week, 11th week, 19th week. Now 19th week happens to be a very crucial ultrasound, which your baby's, your fetus's heart anomaly or any kind of gross anomaly on any organ of the body needs to be detected during that particular week. In my case, it didn't happen, unfortunately. Everything was kind of going pretty well till the 32nd week ultrasound, which I went for to the same ultrasonologist, which happens to be Dr. Chaudhary, who sits out of Defense Colony. I went to her for the same for the 32nd week ultrasound, and all of a sudden she happens to tell me that she's not able to visualize the right chamber of the heart. I think for 40-45 minutes we actually she tried everything possible to kind of detect the heart of the baby. But of course, which is not there, how can you actually see something which is actually not there? Right at that point of time, I was advised fetal echocardiography, but unfortunately a lot of things kind of went wrong right from there. I started bleeding, and of course I was immediately rushed to the hospital. They took me for a C-section, and I had my baby during after 8.5 months. I had her on 15th Feb. My baby was completely kept under observation because of the fatal problem she had.
My child was in constant pain and put in an incubator. Even to breathe was a struggle for her.
So what is basically in store for my baby from now? Because I knew the future for her seems to be very bleak.
We consulted many doctors across the world, but sadly found no solution.
From hospital to hospital in India, in Bombay, Delhi, Bangalore, Canada, New Jersey, so everywhere, Indianapolis, UK, US, everywhere. But everybody said the same thing, that she has to get operated, and so there's no cure to it.
If our doctor provided us with the knowledge of the fetal echocardiogram test, we could have made an informed decision and have had the choice to terminate the pregnancy.
So I wish me and my husband actually had the chance at the right time, at the appropriate time, to actually take the right decision, which would have been in the behest of the baby and of course in the behest of us as a couple. Undergoing this particular tragedy, not that our grief, mine and my husband's grief, has kind of lessened even a bit, but what is good about this particular thing is we have tried channelizing this grief in a very positive manner. And today there is this page that we are running on Facebook, Justice for Baby Ashvi, a baby with a mission, with the larger mission of how we can save each and every baby's life by doing a fetal echocardiography test. So it's an appeal to everybody on the show today to please actually go for a fetal echo test done.
That's all that we could pack in on this edition of CJ Plus. If you too have suffered at the hands of your doctor or a hospital, remember to write in with your story to us. Our team has been waiting for your feedback, your contribution, your suggestions on Facebook, Twitter and also WhatsApp. From the entire team then, goodbye, and we'll see you again next week.